of the U.S. Constitution states that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the right to free speech or of the press, or the right of the people to peaceably assemble and petition the government for a redress of grievances. Over the past 50 years, students have been standing up to school districts when they feel that their right to free speech has been censored. You may be wondering what makes me credible to talk about censorship. Well, along with researching the topic, I've witnessed free speech being censored throughout my time I've spent as a student, and I've also been a victim of censorship. So today I'm going to be talking about two main points. The first is about when censorship became an issue in schools, and the second is about how students are starting to stand up to school districts and oppose censorship more often. So let's move on to my first main point, which is when censorship started to become an issue in schools. I'm going to bring up two cases that were actually brought to court by students, but they have opposite verdicts. So the American Civil Liberties Union website gives the information about the instances that led up to the 1969 court case of Tinker versus Des Moines Independent Community School District. What happened was that in 1965, Mary Beth Tinker and a group of her friends from school started wearing black armbands to school in order to protest the war going on in Vietnam. When the school board got wind of what was happening, they decided to pass a preemptive ban on the armbands, and any student caught wearing them would be suspended. So the next day, when Mary Beth Tinker came to school wearing her armband, she was asked to remove it, and she refused, so she was suspended. In 1969, she brought the case to court, and the Cornell University Law Institute website has the verdict, which was that it can hardly be argued that either students or teachers shed their right to freedom of speech or expression at the schoolhouse gate. So the court basically deemed the actions of the school as unconstitutional. In an article written by John Bowen about the instances that led up to the 1986 court case of Bethel School District versus Frazier, what happened was that student Matthew Frazier was suspended after he gave a speech filled with elaborate, graphic, and explicit sexual metaphors that he used in order to help get his friend elected into student government. He went to court, he brought the case to court, and however, the court decided to side with the school, and they ruled that a vulgar speech given in the context of a school-sponsored assembly with a captive audience is allowed to be punished by schools and is not protected by the First Amendment. It's clear to see that after the 1969 case, students have become more vocal about standing up for their rights, which brings me to my next point. My next point is about how students have been standing up to school districts and opposing censorship more often. When students feel that their rights to free speech are being censored, they have no problem facing the issue head-on, and a perfect example of this is about how Wisconsin students fought back by not really fighting at all. In the 2015 to 2016 school year, the Wisconsin Interscholastic Athletics Association put a ban on around 30 cheers from being chanted by student sections at sporting events. So, and the Huffington Post website has the entire list of cheers that were banned along with why they were banned, and such cheers that were banned were overrated, airball, USA or any acronym with derogatory language or innuendos, or dressing in attire that is not related to school spirit. So the students did not take kindly to this ban, and as a form of protest, students all across Wisconsin, including myself, decided to attend sporting events with their mouths duct taped shut with the letters WIAA written on the front. It's clear to see that students have become more vocal and creative with how they stand up for their rights. Now let's wrap this all up. Today I talked about how over the past 50 years, students have been standing up to school districts to protect their right to free speech from being censored. I talked about when censorship became an issue in schools and how students are standing up to school districts and opposing censorship more often. When it comes to students defending their right to free speech, they will go as far as they need to